to the PhD Mommy's Journey podcast with Bridgette Ojo, an educator and scientific researcher who also happens to be your number one fan. This podcast is for millennial mommypreneurs who strive to be the best versions of themselves every single day. If you're a millennial mom interested in learning more about mindset, motherhood, and motivation, then this is the podcast for you.
Welcome back to the PhD Mommy's Journey podcast, the podcast where motherhood, military life, mindset, and personal growth collide in the most real, raw, and powerful ways. I'm your host, Bridgette Ojo. I'm a Navy sailor, PhD candidate, and most importantly, a mama of two beautiful girls who inspire me daily to aim higher and live with intention. On today's episode, we're going to do a deep dive into something that's really deeply personal for me. And it comes from rule number 5 from Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Now, before we go deep, I want to just thank you all for your patience. I know it's been a minute since our last episode, and I can't tell you, but life has been extremely full. I've been fully present while I'm in A school, in the Navy. I've been pushing through my dissertation, and honestly, I've been working on me. And that has required me to take a huge step away from a lot of things, but I'm back now with more clarity, more power, and most importantly, more perspective. So let's talk about parenting. Not from a place of perfection, but more from a place of responsibility, evolution, and most importantly, purpose. Now, when I first read this rule, I'll be honest, it hit me hard. As moms, we often think that love means saying yes, protecting them from everything or doing everything for our kids. However, that's not love. That's actually fear that's dressed up in guilt. If we look at love, we know that love includes boundaries. Love means telling the truth. Love says, I care enough about you to say no, to correct you, to not let you act in ways that dishonor you or me. When we let our kids constantly behave in ways that irritate or hurt others, whether it's rudeness, dishonesty, or disrespect, we're not necessarily helping them. In fact, we're actually setting them up to be rejected by others. And deep down, we know that. However, when we correct, we're building character. And that, my friend, is true love. Now, let me speak to my heart for a second, because this one, it's about to get a little personal. So being away from my girls, especially during A school, has been one of the hardest things that I've ever done. And if I'm being honest, I used to parent from guilt. I'd overcompensate by giving them extra toys, extra leniency. Every time they asked me for Robux, I would just send it to them. I would bend boundaries just because I missed them so much. But here's the reality. That guilt never made me a better mom. What made me better was actually owning my growth. And the reason why is because every day that I choose to get stronger, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, that's a better day that I get to lead by example. It's a day that my girls get to watch their mom chase discipline, not necessarily excuses. You see, that's not abandonment, that's actually legacy building. And when we look at this rule, rule number 5, it talks about the power of predictable structure. Kids need order, just like we as adults do. And whenever kids have structure, it helps to create safety. Predictability creates peace. When we don't establish expectations, when we don't create rhythms and routines, they start to spin and spiral out of control. Kids will test you. You give them an inch, they'll try to take the whole foot. Not because they're bad or anything. It's just simply they're trying to find the edge of safety. Now, as Jordan Peterson says in his book, a child who knows rules is happier and more secure. So even from a distance, I've worked on my support system to keep that structure alive. My girls' school has been phenomenal. My family has stepped up, and everyone is working together to help my girls transition from being civilian kids to military kids. It is very true when they say it takes a village. I am so grateful for my village. Let me say this very clearly. Your personal growth is not selfish, it's leadership. When I started my journey over 140 pounds ago, and I couldn't even run a quarter mile, I had this audacious goal to join the Navy. And let me tell you, even though it was hard, I showed up every single day. Even on the days where I felt embarrassed, even on the days where it felt really, really slow, I walked, I jogged, I ran a little bit more each time. And when boot camp came, I didn't stop during my PRT. I finished strong. And guess what? I can run multiple miles without thinking twice. Now, these aren't dramatic overnight transformations. Instead, they were incremental shifts. It was my focus on becoming 1% better each day. And this is a model, this is a standard that I stand by every single day. And that is the same model that I'm giving my girls. And honestly, that's the same model that I want you to give yourself too. If I've learned anything in this season, it's that we were never meant to do this alone. My girls' school has offered emotional and academic support that's helped carry them through this huge transition. My family's involvement has helped me breathe easier. It's helped me to sleep easier at night. And here's the reality. Sometimes strength, it looks like asking for help. Sometimes it's delegating tasks that you know that you can't do. And sometimes it's just trusting that you don't have to hold it on your own. So this podcast is part of that support system for you. It's a reminder that even when you're far from perfect, you're still making progress, and that matters. So let's take a little alignment audit and let's ask ourselves, how am I parenting today? So take a pause here and ask yourself some honest questions. Are you parenting out of guilt or from your highest self? Are your actions shaping your child's character, or are they just keeping the peace? What would parenting with alignment look for you right now? Just a reminder, this isn't about judgment, it's more about reflection. A better parent isn't perfect. A better parent is honest, aligned, and growing. When we hold our children to standards rooted in love and discipline, we create a ripple effect. We raise children who respect others. In turn, we raise adults who honor truth. Most importantly, we build homes that feel like peace, not chaos. You see, Rule 5 isn't about harshness, it's about integrity. It's about holding our kids accountable with grace. It's not about shrinking ourselves just to avoid discomfort. Listen here, Mom. You don't have to be a perfect parent. You just need to be a purposeful one. So let's be real here. Being a mom is sacred. And it's also one of the most demanding leadership roles that we will ever have. Whether you're parenting in civilian life or, like me, navigating military service while also raising kids, I'm sure you understand, and most importantly, you know the weight of wanting to do right by your children, even when you're stretched thin. Peterson's message in this role is that children need structure. They need boundaries. Not because we want to control them, but because we love them enough to teach them how to live in the world with wisdom, discipline, and confidence. Discipline, it's love in action. One thing in this chapter that Peterson emphasizes is that if you allowed your children to act in ways that makes you dislike them, you're going to end up resenting them. That's a hard truth. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's one that I had to sit with. Whenever we don't teach our kids boundaries, we teach them rejection later. Life is going to demand a certain level of behavior, and if we don't help prepare them, the world is going to teach them in much harsher ways. I don't know about you, but I don't want the military or any other system to be my girl's first experience with discipline. I want that to come from love, from home, from a mother who led by example. Discipline is one of the most highest forms of love. It's teaching your children how to operate in the world with respect, courage, and responsibility. And it starts with you, with me, with how we model consistency, hold boundaries, and choose to lead even when it's inconvenient. Listen here, Mama. You don't have to be perfect. I'm not. But you do have to be committed. Be committed to becoming the kind of woman your kids can one day look at and say, my mom showed me what strength looked like. So for this week, I'm inviting you to join me in a 7-day parenting reflection challenge. So each day, I want you to take about 5 minutes, maybe 10 at the max, to journal about one aspect of your parenting. Ask yourself, where can I lead with more consistency? Where can I communicate better? How can I create more structure with love? Because growth in our parenting starts with self-awareness, and it expands through intentional action. As we close on this episode, I want you to remember, you were chosen to parent your children for a reason. You were made for this. They don't need a perfect mom. They need a present one who leads with love, with structure, and with grace. This is a PhD Mommy's Journey podcast. I'm Bridgette Ojo, reminding you that motherhood is leadership. And when you lead with love and discipline, you win. Until next time, stay grounded, stay resilient, and most importantly, stay bold. Follow me on Instagram at the PhD Mommy Life and join this movement of powerful women raising powerful humans. Until next time.